Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kira, and today I'm going to be talking about January, the year of 2019, and just what I've been seeing and noticing. Today is the 6th of January, and I've been a little bit quiet. I know a lot of people came out talking about the beginning of the year and what that meant for us. But I've been kind of just really relaxing behind the scenes and kind of observing the cosmos and integrating as much as I can so that way I can be more present and available for you. So I remember, I believe it was at the end of November, December, I started seeing how our timeline for right now, and you guys, I use a whiteboard, so get ready for my drawings. And I apologize if the sound is a little bad. I'm working on that. So thanks for just being open and being with me on this ride. So at the end of January, and from my perception right now, this is the Earth. I'm seeing us that we've been passing through this huge, tremendously large portal, like a light portal, okay? And that has been really like, when a snake sheds its skin and it's just like that last little umph, and it's tearing away like the last bit of the of what's not serving it so it can be birthed again or come into its new skin, right? That's like this portal that I've been connecting and seeing for quite some time now. And from where I'm at, the energy, today's the 6th, so it's going to wrap up around the 9th. But the undertones of the energy is going to continue until the 13th. Okay, so what does that mean? So, in order for us to truly begin experiencing and anchoring in that 5th dimensional material experience, a lot of us who have been on the journey of doing the behind the scenes work, so our light workers, our star seeds, or our people who have been very much involved in their spiritual development and therefore stepping forward and assisting humanity as well. We have been doing like a lot of the energy work for the collective consciousness. So in 2019, that's definitely going to shift. Okay, and what I mean by that is that shifts into becoming more of that physical, okay, like we're on the ground now, we're hitting the ground running, we're kind of stepping out of the spiritual closet, if you will, or we're really accepting in the full embodiment, okay? That's all that this energy is doing, and it's going to wrap up around the 13th. Now, the shedding of skin. The shedding of skin is really a lot of the third. Oh, what did I do? Hold on. The third dimensional consciousness. Okay, so I want to remind you guys what is of the third dimensional consciousness was really wrapping up. Okay. A lot of cycles and drudgery is ending. And again, you guys, aspects of our ego and our excitement, and we're like, okay, let's just finish this, be done, let's create the new world, right? But we have a time-space matrix, and we still lean on the divine perfect plan, okay? But that's not to negate our power, our collective power, and what is coming through for this year, which I'm really excited about. I'll talk to you in a second. So unfortunately, there's been a lot of ending, okay? There have been people, soul groups that are leaving the planet, people who are shifting to new planes, going to new highs. There are individuals who, you know, when we shed our skin, we rebirth. So a lot of purging has been happening, okay? So in my very first video, I think I made it in November, I talked, and I'll reiterate it here just in brief. I talked about how between the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimensional shifts, the Earth goes through these harmonic jumps and leaps of consciousness. Now the ego can get a little anxious because it flares our awareness in the undertones of the fourth and third dimension. So here real quick. So you know, if you're called to wrap up the triggers or the awareness, all that I mean here is the reality is calling out for more love, more source, more of that divine connection that is natural. Ooh, sorry, switch the light. There we go. Natural to us. When we make these harmonic leaps in consciousness. So this is the third dimensional earth plane. This is the fourth, and this is the fifth. So when we're in the third and aspects of the fourth dimensional realm or awareness or consciousness, we can shrink. Doesn't really feel good. And when we shrink, we cut off our life source, okay? Now the energies of January and moving forward, we're really expanding here. Now with expansion, as we're wrapping up and have been wrapping up, we're more, in all this year, you guys, I'm going to be talking about, you know, the inner work between the fourth and fifth dimensional planes. You know, I've mostly been doing a lot of the work in the third dimension, but this year I'm going to be working with people and running workshops all about the energy work, the inner work, the inner energy release of the fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness, so we can keep on pulling that into the tangible experiences together for more collective peace and material progress. So when we make these harmonic jumps, we can get our aspects of the self or our awareness could get a little bit anxious, okay? I talk about these void spaces that we, you know, it's kind of like a tunnel that we go through and we reemerge, we go through and we reemerge, we enter the darkness of surrender to reemerge again. So that is really what that light tunnel, that big tunnel of what I was talking about, that illustration there, that's a pocket of energy that we have been immersed into. And again, I'm seeing that's going to wrap up around the 13th. The energies kind of, you know, really solidify around the 9th, but there's just like some integrations that are happening until through the 13th. So what does that mean for us? That means that those leaps, a lot of us are making those leaps from the fourth to the fifth. And that also means for our friends that decided to fully jump on board with our progression together, that means that there's a lot of us who are going to begin our spiritual awakening. It's so beautiful. It's a grand unfolding that just keeps on happening. And why it's such a great time. And naturally, the energy of 2019 is going to be allowing those of us who know that we are here as a soul to fully bring forward the building blocks and doing the nitty-gritty building of the new age, of the new earth. And that's just being present. That's truly just being present. Everyone has something to offer to someone. And so, you know, if you feel called to finally open your spiritual business or practice, we need you. If you feel called to, you know, go into these realms that are healing, there's wounds. There are collective wounds that are opening this year that we are so ready to heal together. From masculine and feminine consciousness and healing the lower aspects of duality. And that means coming together. And I'm going to talk about that in a different video, but 2019 is all about the soul coming out of the closet. So we're going to be seeing a lot of the pain points released and coming up for water, and not gasping for air, but asking for relief. So that's where we step in. You know, I truly feel that we as energy workers, light workers, healers, people who are on the spiritual path, you know, we all guide and walk each other home. You know, there's no hierarchy. Where we're going and where we are, there's no you above me. There's none of this, I'm better than you. There's no competitive anything. It's just expression. It's just innocent, vital expression. And that is the juice and the luster of what we get to experience this year. Okay, so soul coming out of the closet. Okay, I want to talk about January because a lot of us are still kind of experiencing the release of the lower realms, and so, you know, where we have kind of betrayed ourselves in some way, or one another, or what I mean by that is we're releasing aspects of guilt, shame, anything that is unloving, okay, that's really coming forward for us to heal. And there's going to be a lot of focus. Now, I'm not an astrologer at all. If you are into astrology, follow astrology. I really love following a woman. Her name is Raquel Spring. She is phenomenal with her work. So I recommend her for astrology. But from what I can, you know, sense and perceive, because this is one of my gifts that I love to share with you guys, is utilizing aspects of sight to see into the cosmos. So I'm definitely seeing that the month of January is pushing the heart forward. And there's a lot of returning to source, or returning to the cosmic womb, returning to our vitality, our innocence, and I talked about that already. And there's definitely a rebirthing that is going on in the soul plane. A lot of the energy work and the work that I do with people is with soul anyway. That multidimensional space, for some reason, I can see soul memory, okay? I don't know why, but I just do. But what I'm seeing is literally the Akashic plane is expanding. There's an expansion happening for us for deep soul release. So any sort of, I don't like to utilize this word, however I'm going to use it, karma or patterns. So karma means action. So the actions or the levels of consciousness in which we have participated in at the soul level. So this is, you guys, like anywhere in the universe where your soul has traveled, we're here right now on planet Earth to heal and cleanse and expand through this beautiful human vessel. So that is really what we're doing. You know, we all were birthed. If you're watching this video, you were birthed in a third dimensional matrix, but you probably came in or activated along your path or are going through that initiation that sacred ascension in the body. That's what we're doing this time around, where we're pulling all of our soul knowledge and wisdom to the surface. And 2019 is where we really expand and embody that. So 2019, or excuse me, January is really kind of like dipping your toes in the water, like kind of like a baby being born. All right. We're kind of really kind of testing the waters here as we have been healing the subconscious collective traumas of the third and fourth dimensional frequencies. I'll make a video on that next after this one. So the excitement here is that we have made so much room for one another. You know, everyone's a star. Everyone is an equal. Everyone's an equal playing field. 2019 is all about unity consciousness. And, you know, there's going to be some huge shifts happening. There's going, you know, you guys, I love this so much and I get so excited. If you're like me, you're probably a rebel. You're probably someone who's like, rage against the machine, right? That aspects, I don't want to say too much, of what I can sense and feel, like there's going to be a crumbling in structure, which is the energetic opening for the new world and new ways of how we're figuring out to love one another again with no conditions, where we are expressing surrender and grace and just forgiveness for one another, for ourselves and one another. Oh, okay. You know, this happened in our community. How do we make it better? So those of you who, you know, if I'm talking to you and, you know, you're very much, you work in corporate America, or you're a policeman, or you work in government, you know, this is really I want you to know and remember that energy affects matter, okay? So the energy, there's an energetic support for you to make the change that you were born to make, to create those ripples for all of us, because you are a spiritual warrior. And I'm not talking about war where you're going to battle. It's more of that opening where we're roaring together and opening up the fields for freedom. We all crave freedom. Yep, we all do. And it is our birthright to be free. 2019 is all about that. So, you know, we're all one another's missing link. So link up and love one another. Link up and, you know, support one another. If you're starting a business, or, you know, if your workplace is a little dense, go forward and inspire, because the collective consciousness is going to shift so quick this year, you guys. So fast, so incredibly fast. It's like time just keeps speeding up, right? So the margin of time, there's just more momentum, okay? There's more momentum. January, February, March, and April, it just explodes. And again, I'm not an astrologer, but from what I can see, it's just like another huge opening. It's the energy from here on out is just boom, 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 open, open, open. We have no choice but to keep on surrendering and ascending in the body. So just to recap this video, the energy of January is very much about our soul cleansing, our collective consciousness really coming forward and supporting one another. We've been in a kind of like a light incubation period that's going to kind of shift in 3 days, but wrap up around the 13th. So it's going to shift around the 9th, like totally anchor around the 9th, and then integrate until the 13th. So notice, you know, the recalibrations that are naturally happening to your body. You know, if ascension symptoms, you can get a little bit more lethargic, tired, and then suddenly inspired. You know, roll with those divine inspirations. That's an indicator, you know, that there's something that wants to come out and flow through you. So follow that, please, for yourself and your own self-nourishment, and also to give and be of service to one another. And next is, you know, just we as light workers, if you feel called to start a new project, there's going to be a tremendous amount of focus this year, from what I can tell, in you know, filling in those fifth dimensional blueprints. If you are, you know, someone who you're just starting your spiritual awakening, or if you've been on the path and you know, you're ready to keep on like finally coming out of the spiritual closet and merging your body, mind, spirit, you know, that's going to be a tremendous amount of growth for you, which will also shift the collective consciousness. But the undertone here is we're all kind of coming out. We're all coming out. We're going to be collectively challenging what is broken or what doesn't serve unity. Okay, so I hope this helps you. Thank you. I do have a Facebook group. It's called Ascension for a Modern Mystic. Look me up and join us there. And if you are someone who is interested in either 12 or 16 week mentorship with me for all around your ascension process, or a one-on-one session to help you kind of make that quantum leap forward, definitely reach out. Thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to hanging out. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.